Oh, YouTube. What is up? I am Taylor. Welcome back to my channel. This is July 28th, 2021, and this is my weekly comic book review show where I go through this mess of books and I tell you what I thought about them. Today's video is sponsored by, no, it's not sponsored by anybody. I'm not monetized. I don't have sponsors or fans. That'd be nice. I'd spend less money. Hey, somebody sponsor me. Oh, I'll do things for bacon, whiskey, or pretty much anything. I'm cheap and easy. All right, let's get into this. I'm a little under the weather, so I apologize if I'm not at my quite normal enthusiasm levels talking about crappy books. It is what it is. I suffer for you people. I will get through this. We'll get through this together. Well, you have the option of just like closing this video, and then you're through it. So, oops. But if you want to watch it, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. It all helps because then maybe I'll get sponsored someday. Maybe. No, probably not. All right. Oh yeah, worst to best. Like normal. Weird how this has been on my worst list for a few times now. I should have dropped this damn book. Black Knight number 5. Black Knight Curse of the Everdeep Blade number 5. It's awful. But I was dead. I was into it far enough. It's a 5-issue miniseries. Thankfully, this is the last issue. This is another exposition dump of an issue. I think Cy Spurrier thinks he's being clever in the way he did the exposition dump, but he's not. And it's off. It's annoying. It's horrible. It's hard to read. I am so glad this stupid book is over and that I do not have to read any more of it. And I now know I'm going to avoid pretty much everything Cy Spurrier writes because I am just not taking the chance. This is just a mess, and I truly, truly hated it. Yeah, all right. Probably my favorite cover of the week. Amazing Fantasy number 1. It's a throwback cover. It's Kyle Andrews doing the heavy lifting on this. It's fine minus, maybe. It's 3 characters like pulled from their original different times and ending up on a fantasy island or something. I don't know, whatever. The writing is just clunky, and I think what Carr's trying to do is trying to like relate to the era he pulled the heroes out of, like Golden Age Cap. But Cap in this story like says what he's doing while he's doing it, and I think I get that there might have been some of that going on in the Golden Age of comics and stuff, but it just doesn't work. And his art, he tries to change his style up for each of the eras. There's Spider-Man as a teenager and Black Widow from the Red Room era, blah 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 blah. Some of that's more successful than others. It's an interesting enough notion. And you know, like I said, it's my favorite cover. He did the cover too, and I know it like heavy lifting on a book's a thing. And did I already damage this one? No, I think I bought a jacked up copy, so I can't even turn around and sell it because it's got a corner ding. Son of a bitch. Yeah, whatever, it's fine. All right, another cover I liked, a book I didn't. Possessive number 1. Down on his luck, drunken artist buys a house. I should like it already because it's like real estate and art and whiskey. It's all things. It's hitting a little too close to home. No, not really. It's a weird story. It didn't do much for me. I bought it. I like the cover, the Bob Ross tribute. I think it's going to end up being. I think he makes buddies with the ghost and ends up doing something. Maybe not. I don't want to spoil it, but I don't know. I just didn't care for it. And I probably should go into more detail, but the art was okay. The story just doesn't resonate. There was nothing. The main character's not sympathetic at all. He's not a likable character. You don't need a likable character to have a good book, but when you're trying to tell a story that just centers on the main character in a house, you need the main character to be interesting at the very least, and he's not interesting. So we're gonna get through this quickly this week, folks. Good luck number 1 or 2. This one confused the hell out of me. I was sort of lost after the first issue. I'm really lost after this one. I sort of get what's going on. I think they're trying to like kill the gods of luck. I think. And they're using kids that have no luck to do it, but they're sending them into some zone. I don't remember where the zone came from, but that's newer as last issue. I'm kind of lost. I do not care enough to keep going on it. I just don't. The art is by Stefano Simeon is fine. It's just the writing is Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. Like, you got to do more to hook me in this day and age. I'm expecting interesting idea. Like, Killing the Gods of Luck's an interesting idea, but like the way this story's told, the framework of it, it's just yeah, it's not there for me. Speaking of last issue, I'm going to read of a miniseries, and I feel slightly bad about it. But we'll see. This is Cullen Bunn, Parasomnia #2, by Andre Moody on the art. The art is great, Andre Moody. Cullen Bunn, I think, just it's another writer I'm gonna have to avoid because there's a couple books this week that like I just don't like, and I don't like his writing. It's unnecessarily complicated and like okay. There's a couple threads, right? And they're all probably going to end up weaving together into one. But like the threads themselves have to make a little bit of a sense separately, and they and like have some common theme. There is a common theme, but it's just not interesting enough for me. Andre Moody's art is great. Did Maniac in New York and did or Andrea, however you pronounce it, and is doing this. But it's just yeah. I mean, I don't know. I could go in more to depth. I just don't care. I mean, I know I should care, but I just don't. All right. Berserker series has started surprisingly strong and has been like coming in for a slow, graceful, boring as hell landing ever since. This is still the backstory of the Berserker. Art has gotten sloppier from what I can tell. I haven't looked at the first couple issues in a while, but this is issue #4, and we're still talking why Berserker's like he is, and it's pretty predictable. And one long action sequence and nothing else happens. There's just nothing else that really happens. Like, not a lot happens in this issue, and it's fine. We're in the fine section. Fine and Cullen Bunn, and another book I will not be reading more of. The art on this one by Lays just didn't grab me. This is the last book you'll ever read, #1, and this is the Cullen Bunn one. This writer might have a deep, dark secret, or just might have written a book that's causing the world to go crazy. That's the book. Spoilers. Whoopsie. I don't know. It's just not doing it for me. All right. Kind of an average week for me. Like Robin #4. This is the worst issue of Robin yet, or my least favorite. I probably should start phrasing like that to be more positive, right? Instead of just saying worst, just being like, "This, your opinions may vary." And I get, you know what? If you don't know that by now, you get it. You have your own opinions. They're going to be different from mine. I'm not going to keep telling you all the damn time. So it's the worst one. Screw it. Empirically, not empirically, but in my opinion, Robin's on some island with Rachel Gould. Blah blah blah. Grandfather, son bonding moment. Raish is all meditative, and Robin's all murdery, and nothing happens. Infinite Frontier is a little lost in this one too. There's a Black Lantern. There's the multiverse. There's a quest for things that are going on in the multiverse, and whether or not people are trying to destroy the multiverse again and bring it down to one verse. The universe. Oh, I get it. Universe. Yeah. Anyways, there's characters in here that I'm just not familiar with that are in the DC lore. I know they're established characters. I'm just kind of getting into DC for the first time in a long, long time, so I'm just not familiar with them. It's maybe fine plus. I think this is setting up the next big event. The art's solid for the most part. There's a lot of artists in this. It keeps switching up. This has different threads that are not tying together, and there's different art on the threads, and it makes it feel still a little bit wonky and kind of, my favorite word, clunky. But yeah, it's all right. All right, this one's doing enough every week to barely keep me going on it. And that is Sword number 7. Al Ewing, like this has been on the chopping block probably since issue number 3, and it's still on the chopping block. But I like his Abigail Brand character, and I like the idea of Sword. I just kind of like it's not like Al's just had this way of like jumping the things forward, and maybe this ties into like other Marvel comics I'm not reading, but there's no indication of that, and yeah, I don't know. I like Abigail Brand, and that's what's keeping me going on this book. Nothing else is. So, you know what? I lied. Actually, there was a pretty decent interaction with Storm and Dr. Doom in here. And that was actually the B plot with them. That was actually pretty solid, and that was pretty interesting. And you know, I'd read a Doctor Doom book probably written by Al Ewing, or even a Storm book. But like, yeah, I don't know. All right, final. I like the first issue a lot. This one kind of again it sort of lost me a bit. I feel like I missed something in here, but we're on issue number 2. interesting enough premise. Serial killer now working for the government, sort of. I think, kinda, maybe. But then it just the way they told the story. I'm like, what? Huh? Is that person here and here? Are there more than one of them? Is like the same plot? Is this person driving forward the plot, or I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. A little lost again. And the art's fine. Not spectacular. I think if you want like wacky serial killer comics, just read Red Room. It's better. This is not bad. It's just, yeah, I don't know. It's not my favorite. I get a sophomore slump on this issue. I'll give it another one to see. All right, Beta Ray Bill number 5, and we're in the middle. This is average. This is the fine. I like Daniel Warren Johnson's art. This is one big action slug out festival, right? And it's the ultimate issue, the finale of his statement on Beta Ray Bill. And his statement on Beta Ray Bill is about as deep as a kiddie pool for the most part. It's just a very shallow take. And while I like his art and I like his action sequences, other than like he draws Pip the Troll very weirdly, which just disturbs me. And the coloring by Mike Spicer is great as well. It's like action for 98% and then 2-page wrap up. And the 2-page wrap up, I know I've watched another review where the Pop Culture Philosopher is like, I think it's deeper than I thought. I'm like, it's not. I mean, it's we get it. If you read the end and you don't get that right away, it's like, okay. It's like, all right, well, whoopee. But that's the problem. The ending is like a whoopee. All right, we didn't need this series. Nothing changed. No, like, even character revelations, really. Maybe a minor one. But nothing from the first setup of stuff is really addressed. It's just this adventure and an abrupt little ending of like 1 page to wrap it all up. And fine plus. Maybe fine plus. All right, Skybound X number, what is this? 4. I think there's one more of these. This is a weekly Skybound 10th anniversary thing. Probably my least favorite of this run, too. It's the Rick Grimes 2000. It was an okay chunk of the story. Everything else, like, okay, there's been an ongoing main story with Rick Grimes from Walking Dead in the year 2000, where it's all sci-fi and aliens and stuff, and this is Negan. Spoilers, Negan has a baseball bat and is a douche. But yeah, it's just kind of the rest of the so that gets the front page, and I get it. It's the most popular Skybound book, and this is still solid. It's just kind of this chunk of the story just didn't do much for me as far as that goes. And Excellence backup story, I've not read Excellence, and I am not going to. I am sorry, but that like 5-page like weird character dump that whatever it was bored the crap out of me. And like, you're not gonna get me to read a book when you're just talking about things that are not gonna be probably in the book and are just like weird 1-page little sort of stories that aren't funny or interesting or exciting or anything. Nope. Then the Sea Serpent's Heir, that's actually not bad. It's a new first appearance of some girl, and the art on that Sea Serpent's Heir is fantastic. My favorite art in the book. And so that one I might actually pick up when it comes out if the character goes into their own story or their own book. I kind of hope they do. And there's a Redneck story, Donny Cates, and I can't remember the artist. I've not read Redneck, but they give you a pretty decent idea of what Redneck is in the summary. So like, okay, and it was a fun little story. There's some interesting cameos in there if you grew up in the era that I did and went to high school in the late '80s. About that, so. All right, Department of Truth number, whatever the hell number this is. What is this? What the? Oh, 11. Yeah, all right. I'm going to take this out of the bag for this one. The story's fine. It's the story itself is solid, and like the resolution to the story is actually kind of an unexpected little twist, and so that's not bad. Here's my problem. About half the book, maybe over half. Let me find the right pages. I say it's half, and then I can't find the pages I want. So maybe it's not half. There's a lot of journal in this. So maybe it's a third, maybe it's a quarter. It felt like a half. There's a lot. Yeah, there's this. Okay. There's a lot of reading, and I don't even mind straight up reading in a comic. I'm not opposed to reading. I know how to read. I'm not even opposed to journal entries. What I'm opposed to is. Looks like it was designed by a freshman graphic designer that just wanted to make things look grungy and interesting. You can't read the goddamn thing. Like, just write a journal. Just write the journal. Write it. You don't fill this crap in the background. Like, Why make it hard for the audience to get it? It's so stupid, and it drives me nuts. That and well, it's a weak way to tell a story like that too. I mean, anytime you like just it's another version of an exposition dump that's not really needed. Like it's not necessary to the plot. It's I mean it's an interesting little filler, but you could have had a 1-page interesting little filler there and just had the plot. But it's just stretching this crap out. I mean, it's still better than the slog fest that came before it, but it's probably my least favorite issue of Department of Truth. All right, Icon and oh no, we're gonna do it this way. Icon and Rocket #1 or Icon Rocket and Icon and Rocket. I knew nothing about this character of Icon, and like I knew nothing of Rocket. I don't even know if this is Rocket's first appearance. I have no idea. I just picked it up. It was first issue. This is pretty solid, actually. I'm guessing it's a retelling of the origin. It just strikes me as that, and it's like a sort of familiar origin story, a Superman-ish origin story, except for the main character's black, and not except for that's a big except for it's like shapes the worldview and everything else, and it shapes everything going forward. Kind of implausible, not, and I know me saying a superhero comic's implausible is just kind of ridiculous because they're all implausible, but. The logic used in parts of this is just kind of slim. It's the Batman logic as far as versus the Bernie Sanders logic, if that makes sense. So if you read this book, you should know what I'm talking about. If not, you're not going to care. So whatever. Solid art. Doug Braithwaite does a decent job on the art. It is actually better than I thought. It's a lot better than the Static book. That book, no, I gave it 1 issue and it's hell no. So, all right, Daredevil. #32, I'm enjoying this book, and this is a better issue than the last for the most part. The writing is. Zdarsky's writing is picked back up, and the A-plot, which is now I'm going to call Elektra, has got interesting. She's got her little weird sidekick, and there's trying to deal with not being a murderous assassin while still being a hero. That's kind of interesting, and then Daredevil's finally doing some crap in prison. Finally. Yes, finally going somewhere. Except what's holding it back, and I think this is the new regular artist on this, is Mike Hawthorne, and his art just doesn't strike me as grady enough for the book. It's a little too clean and a little too neat and too weirdly shaded and stuff, and it's just not doing it for me. I'll keep it up. I mean, the writing, I know, okay, it takes all the pieces of a comic have to fit together, but if I'm prioritizing things, it's going to be the writing and then the art, and then the lettering, so... The lettering is still important to me. I know I bitch about lettering a lot, but the art's not bad enough for me to give up the book. It's just not my favorite art. Scumbag has a different artist on every issue, so I get a refreshing change on that one, and I'm just smacking this book all around. I was losing it for a little bit with Scumbag, and this issue kind of ramped it back up for me. It's back to the over the top ridiculosity. Oddness. I like the art by Wayshak quite a bit. I don't know the first name. I'm not going to open it. I don't care. It reminds me kind of Simon Bisley. I don't know. Never heard that guy's name said out loud, so I don't know how you say it. Kind of mixed with Sam Keith. So over the top, bombastic art that fits an over the top, bombastic story pretty well. If you're not reading Scumbag, I'd recommend picking it up. If you're looking for dirty, raunchy, over the top, fun, good times, it's another good issue. All right, over the top, bombastic, fun, good times. Barbaric #2. This is a barbarian with a talking axe that's bloodthirsty and is making him do the right thing, and pairing up with what's her face at the cover, whose name I don't remember. More than just an over the top action romp, kind of swearing and bloodthirsty axe that kills people, and the barbarian that has to be good. It's actually a fairly okay story too. It's not mind-blowing as far as the plot and stuff, but the plot's good enough and solid enough that it's carrying this book, or helping this book to stay fairly high on my list. So if you've not read Barbaric, we're only 2 issues in, I really recommend it. Barbaric #1 is fantastic. Barbaric #2, not as great, but still pretty darn decent. So I apologize for the glare. Whatever. All right, Shadow Service #10. This is the end of the second arc. Really solid wrap up to the second arc. I've not heard anyone else talking about Shadow Service. I don't know if anyone else is reading it. I think it's going on a hiatus or a break after this. I hope it does come back. MI666 that investigates the world's supernatural things and saves worlds from supernatural threats. Not the most original idea in the world, but the characters are pretty interesting. There's a talking possessed rat, or a rat that's somebody trapped in a rat. There's the main character who doesn't know her own skills, which is not new. But and then there's a little kid who's kind of evil twerp that's in charge of everything. And the MI666 is not always good. Like they're maybe righteous, but they're not good. Or no, they may be whatever. Yeah. Shadow Service number 10. Pick it up. Find it in trade. Please help keep this book alive because like I said, I don't think anyone's reading it. And it's sometimes hard to review these things when you're 10 issues in if you don't want to spoil things for folks that have not read the first 9. So go read the first 9 and then we can chat. All right. Book that had sort of lost me, and I'm glad it's ending. And I've vowed to myself now that I'm never going to buy another Tom King single maxi series in single issue form. I'm just going to wait till it's all collected because it's going to be a much better read. I end up this one and Rorschach both. I end up forgetting like half the crap that's happened before. Also, not that much actually happened, so I don't know why I'm forgetting it. Tom likes to stretch this crap out and like make it kind of vague and blah de blah de blah, and then it'll all come wrapping up together in the finale, and you're like, oh, that's what was going on the whole time. Well, we're sort of finding out what's going on the whole time this time, and it's kind of sad, kind of melancholy, kind of not what you expect, which I enjoy. And the art is fantastic. Mitch Gerards and Evan Shaner are doing fantastic art on this one. I am looking forward to this end to seeing how it actually does wrap up. But this is piqued my interest back up again. It had lost me for a bit. It kind of really muddled, like got kind of like muddy in the middle. And this is like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, that's an interesting twist. I'm along for that, sir. All right. Speaking of interesting twists that I'm along for, this is my favorite book this week. My finest book of the week, most fine, least shitty, whatever. Made in Korea number 3. It took an unexpected turn this time. There's a Chinese child robot who's one of a kind, and her creator programmed her to be better and more advanced and like a true AI versus like like robots exist in this world. That's not a thing, but like she's much more advanced than the others, and so I don't want to spoil the whole plot, but like that plays into this. There's a little B story involved in that I don't care about, but the main A story is like this girl's going to school and what happens there, and like her desire to fit in and where that leads. And it's not what I was expecting. Like it's taken a turn where I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of wild. I'm down for that. I'm happy to see where this one's going, and the art is really kind of simple and almost sparse and muted color palette, but like I like it. It's on a like I know I read a lot of books this week, but on a stronger week, it might not have been my favorite book of the week, but a lot of the books this week weren't that great. So this one, Made in Korea, number whatever 3, yeah, that's my favorite book this week. Yeah, and I don't want to spoil these because I want you to have the enjoyment of reading these on your own. And I know I feel like I just spend too much time in the negativity, but like if I can stop people from buying crappy books, I'm going to do it all damn day long. And I've also read or heard some other reviews, and they make good points about how like, you should always be positive because then you want these indie books to stay alive. And I'm like, I get that, I do get that, but you're not reviewing then. You're just fluffing, and so I don't like to fluff. I like to say like what I like about the books, and if I like the book, I'm going to tell you. If I don't like the book, I'm really going to tell you, because I wish people would tell me like, hey, you should avoid this goddamn book. It's horrible. Like say the Black fucking Knight. Avoid the Black Knight. It's horrible. So if I can do that, I'm at least doing humanity a little bit of a service because we're all spending too much money on this book. Oh, speaking of which, please buy my t-shirts so I can afford to buy more comics and waste my time on reading bad books. TaylorWinter.com. The shirt is all bananas. All right, that's all I've got. I'm going to go not record things. So, don't be a dick.